Well, hello, y'all. It's a beautiful Saturday in Sawtee, Georgia. I'm Don Allison here at the Old Sawtee store with Bill Cohen. We just had a beautiful day here today and a great crowd of folks coming through. And Bill, tell them what we got new this week.
Well, we got a lot going on here outside, right outside the store. What direction are we facing?
We're facing south.
So that means on the west side of the building, we've added a new platform. It's an open platform designed perfect for us for our instruments on Saturday mornings. We gather up here. We started with just a few of us, and now today we had about a dozen, I guess. And last week we had a dozen as well on this platform. Everything from stand-up bass, several guitars, mandolin, dobro, and I think we've got banjo and dulcimer coming. We had banjo last week, but it just fills the room with just wonderful sound. And then the crowd comes out here in the parking lot and stands around and sings and claps, and it's just a happy time with people. That's a pickup group. We're not even a band, really. We're just friends and customers that come by that like to play, and it's absolutely a fantastic joy. Customers love it.
And it's a really wide array of music styles.
Sure.
Almost anything and everything.
Sure is. Yeah, we did some bluegrass, some country, some gospel, a little bit of rock and roll, Fogelberg, and who else we have in there? John Denver.
Yeah.
Songs and.
But the old-time gospel, upbeat gospel songs seem to be the crowd favorite.
Well, the crowds, they all know those songs. They're like me. I know a lot of the rock and roll and the bluegrass tunes, but I don't know them well enough to really sing them. But when they come to those old gospel songs, everybody either sang them in church or heard them somewhere, and they'll sing along with us, and that's a lot of fun. They clap, and the kids get involved in it. So that's been a great expansion to this store's footprint here in the community. People are talking about it all over the place.
We got our pick and shed last Saturday, and we played, but we didn't have any amplification, and it was a little hard to hear. But we mocked up today, and it really helped. We still got a little bit more fine tuning to do, but I think we'll get that right.
It balanced out really good, and it almost surprised me how well it came out. That new microphone is a omnidirectional mic, and it really picked up the group as a whole. We're going to need to either add a solo mic or get people closer to the mic when they sing a solo line on a lead song. But yeah, it's all kinds of styles. And of course, we have music in the building all the time too. We got just general, I guess, gospel or country music, whatever it is, that's playing background. And then Nickelodeon is a big favorite. By the way, Nickelodeon hiccuped a couple of times today. I wasn't quite sure it was going to. We may need to check into that and do a little service or something on that thing. It's working now, but it didn't rewind right, and then
I don't know what to do about Nickelodeon hiccups.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to do with it. In other words, it quit working a few times. And I patted on it, I hugged it and that sort of thing. But I tell you, that's a joy, though. Those kids and kids and old ladies love that thing. Old ladies will dance to it, and children will dance to it. But that's a big feature of the store, and it's a lot of fun. Today we had so many wonderful guests today.
And Bill, you talked to almost everyone that comes through, and they come from all over. Where all did they come from today?
Today, let's see. This weekend I had Kenya, Puerto Rico, El Salvador, India. And one of the other South American countries, and then we had a guy from Norway.
Wow.
His family's from Norway, and so he really liked that because the store had that Norwegian feel to it, and he was anxious to get back to the cheese and get a chance to taste it. But over this last year, I don't remember when I started coming in, June, I guess, or May or June or something like that. But we've had people from every continent of the world and every state of the union. I used to say except New Hampshire, and the guy said he was from New Hampshire one day, and then he was standing back in the store, and then I said every continent except Antarctica, and the fellow said he spent 2 months there, and I said, well, anybody who spent 2 months there, he's a resident.
Close enough for
so
me.
That's right. So we've got every continent, not every country, but every continent. We always have Europeans here, and so that's always a. And there was another family today from New Zealand. Yes, New Zealand. That was yesterday afternoon. We had this lady from New Zealand, and she was going to come back today, and then and Korea. That's all this last 2 days, and I think there's probably more, but those are the ones I remember right at the moment. It's amazing how they find this store. People talk about it. It's got a great reputation. People read about it on Facebook and then travel log or whatever they call that, and of course people in Helen will talk about the store. So it's a wholesome, wonderful place to be, and that's why I love coming here. Love joy being here. It's uplifting. I'll get worn out at the end of the day. I'll rest well at night after being here, but it's a wonderful place, and I'm glad it's part of this community. And now I guess, Don, is this the only? We're the only store like this. Of course, no stores like it, but I mean, gift shops, sandwich place. There's nothing else here, is there, in our community like this? There was at one time something similar, but it's gone. Now there's a nice restaurant and a coffee shop up the road, but as far as there's nothing else around here, and of course there's nothing like it anywhere.
Yeah, there's a couple of historic businesses that have some similar products, but I don't really know of another one that's got all of the things that we are.
One of the things that it really impresses me or interests me, I've done a little bit of research and kind of learned more about the store in the area. People will come in, they say, well, we've been coming here for years, and then I get to talking to them and they really know nothing about it. They don't realize it's 152 years old. It's, Grant was president. It was built just 7 years after Lincoln was shot. I mean, that puts some age on it. And for women, I always like to tell them, this is when Susan B. Anthony started her quest for women's suffrage, and the way she did it. And I just learned that this week because I ran across an article, Wikipedia, I think maybe, or somewhere there, that what she did in 1872 in November, she voted even though it was illegal for women to vote. She voted for Grant, and then got arrested for it, and got charged a fine of $100. She never did pay the $100, but the point I'm making is that that's the year that this store was started. And people think that it's old. They'll ask them, well, how old do you think it is? Oh, it's 50, 100 years old. No, 152, 1872. That's impressive to me. And when you consider who all's walked on those floors, it becomes sacred ground, really. Real men like you and me put those nails in there. And real farmers use those implements that are hanging from the ceiling. And all those products behind the counter that are all real. And most of them, many of them anyway, were from the store originally. And so it's a pretty special place, and people don't grasp that. And they always get excited when they learn it.
I was very fortunate growing up. I knew three sets of great-grandparents that lived here in the area. They were farmers, at least part-time, some full-time. And I remember as a child seeing them and the way of life that they lived then, which was much later on, 100 years later on. They still worked and lived like a lot of the stuff that's here at the store.
They use these things.
They use these type of tools and the methods and the rudimentary comforts that they had, bathrooms and things like that, and refrigeration, electricity, and it was a hard life, but they all lived to be 99 or 100 years old.
It must have worked. They did something right.
Well, my theory is first of all, they grew their own food, most of it, and it wasn't healthy from by today's standards, from the standpoint of cholesterol and fat and those kind of things. But it wasn't processed. It wasn't chemically impacted, and they grew it mostly themselves.
Well, wouldn't most of the vegetables and such that were sold here, they were local, weren't they?
Oh yeah, everything would be, because there was refrigeration was non-existent at the time, so it wouldn't travel. But they worked hard physically, and I think that's the two main secrets to longevity that we don't all have the opportunity to enjoy.
Absolutely. Even the way this place was built by those people, those very kind of people, they built it well. The building. I mean, it's an old building. It looks like an old building. It's supposed to look like an old building, but it was still standing, just like those people living 100 years.
People ask me all the time. I'm sure they do you as well. Is it sturdy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sturdy. It's been here, stood here 152 years.
Yeah, it hadn't fallen in, and it's got big rock pilings underneath holding that thing up. Yeah.
It's got a few cosmetic things that could stand a little.
A little tacking down a few times when that wind was.
Wind was rough. We had high winds for the last week.
Yesterday, I dusted. I made it. I always laugh about the guy that fussed at me because we dust the place. So it made me conscious of it. So I dusted yesterday, all the glass, any of the counters, and that I could, and around the fireplace. And that wind hit one time, and all of a sudden came through that fireplace, and I had soot all over everything. I mean, just after I did that, I had to dust and sweep and that sort of thing again.
Well, it blew a sign off the wall.
It blew that tray. I've forgotten what the advertisement is. It's an old tray. It blew it right off the wall. And it didn't hit any glass. It went right by it and missed it, and landed on that old potty chair in there. But that was a unusual day. When I was taking the flags down, it about blew me off the porch. All joking aside.
I noticed we in the backyard here of the store we lost a big limb off a tree now.
A little bit off the subject, or different subject. As I'm looking at the flags right now, I'm looking at the flowers. The flowers beginning to bloom, and that just happened this week. I mean, all that growth, those flowers come back in. The iris was one of my favorite flowers, and I can't remember the names of those others, but you may remember. The bebops will be back here in a few weeks, and people were taking pictures of flowers today and identifying them, and that was fun.
The first time that in the winter or late fall, I came by and they had mowed the flower garden in front completely down to the ground. And I was screaming and fussing because I said, well, we'll never get it pretty like it was again. And it comes back every time.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's, I think, and I'm not trying to overstate the point, but when people pull in, they see the flags. A few minutes ago, a lady said, we never see the flags flying anymore. And so we got the flags flying. They see those flowers blooming. The minute they pull on the place, they're drawn to it. It's happy looking. And then the engagement of this original store years ago, we know this was a community place. They came in, they talked, they shared their stories, their sadness, their joys. This was almost like a church in the sense, except it was every day. And they came in here and they spoke to one another, they shook hands, they talked about their crops, they talked about families, they bought their products, and that fellowship that we have all the time, constantly going here, people talking. People stay here for an hour and a half just talking, just visiting. Not with me. A few weeks ago I had people that came in, they were so excited about being here. 2 families from Washington State. They happened to be in the store at the same time. Now, when does that happen? They spent the next 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, talking to each other, and I wasn't involved in that at all. They were just having a good time. But when they come in, there's that sense of comfort. They feel comfortable when they walk in the place. And I think that's one of the successes of it. And I think that's what's going to continue keeping the store going from years to come.
You mentioned the flags. We have 4 flags on the front porch, and The reason for that is if we only had one flag, people might think it was an accident. We want to make sure that
This is deliberate.
that it's intentional, that they
Yeah.
understand. So we have 4.
They like to get their picture taken standing on the porch with the flags and the sign. I don't know how many pictures you've done it too. How many families we've taken pictures of with that picture. It's a great it's a great scene, and it probably wouldn't hurt for get another good picture of you and Rose there under the in front of the flags on one of these pretty days. I think that would be and maybe the whole staff sometime, but particularly you two. And you could Edward could put it on the Saltee page, and I could put it on my page, because I put stuff on my page all the time about it, and so people are looking. They can always go, if they can go online and see Old Saltee Store, and that's the general information about it. But the current things, they can go on Facebook, and it's just Old Saltee Store, I guess, on Facebook. And
the music, the picking this morning is already on our Facebook page.
Good. I didn't know that, but I'll make sure that
Actually,
I let people
video.
know that. Oh, you had some video on it, because I had a guy, a friend of mine that lives near Cornelia, says, "Why don't you video some of it?" And I said, "Well, we'll probably be working on that." And I'm glad I can let him know that he'll be over here. But yeah, we have people that again from all the towns around us here. And again, like I say, a lot of people from Atlanta, or Atlanta general areas. A lot of people from Florida that are trying to buy property up here. And today, this weekend, because it's the Masters, we had a lot of people from Augusta. Yesterday and today, just getting out of town for the Masters. Had a lot of time.
Did anyone hear who's leading the Masters?
I haven't listened to anything about the Masters. I don't know any information on that.
I guess this will be our sports section.
Yeah, we'll have to add that to the give you update. It's a beautiful day for it. So often it rains all the entire time in the Masters. It just rained Thursdays this week, so it couldn't. But I'm sure they were able to play all day today, and they will tomorrow. And is it in tomorrow, or is it go on to Monday?
It should end Sunday. If
Sunday.
But
we serve a better pimento cheese sandwich than they do, I'll bet you.
Probably so. They've been doing it longer than us.
I know they've been doing it longer than us, but our deli's just taken off. I mean, people love that. And where can you go to get a bologna sandwich? I had some young ladies, young adult women, came in and they bought bologna sandwiches today, which caught me off guard. I thought they would try the what was the spring chicken was the chicken or one of those, but they love the bologna sandwiches. But we've got such good sandwiches over there, and soup, and I think it was Nikki's really creative on her
split pea soup.
Split pea today, yeah, and she had a bean soup, and she has a French onion soup, different things she has, but that Reuben sandwich was real popular last week, I think, and so she always has a special, and then we always have our chicken salad and our pimento cheese and bologna sandwich, a turkey and cheese sandwich. And they're inexpensive. Do we still have the little peanut butter things over there for the kids? Peanut butter and jelly? We had them at one time, but kids love them. We had a family come in 2 weeks ago that said they can feed their family better and cheaper here than they can at McDonald's.
Oh,
I thought that was a pretty good statement, and the kids like it. They don't get their Happy Meal, but they can come over here and get candy afterwards or ice cream at the same time. So
I would just like to tell the folks to don't try the ice cream.
Yeah.
I had been doing so good, and yesterday I slipped and had ice cream.
Oh, you didn't?
And I went back today and had another one, and I think I'm going to have one tomorrow.
But it's addictive, yeah. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we've got, there's a lot going on here, and it's good to be a part of the Old Saltee Store. It's a beautiful area. And this springtime and summer is going to be amazing here. And I can't wait to see what all is going to happen in the next few weeks and months ahead.
And we'll keep you posted.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Don.